You want to know what the top neighborhoods are in Orlando, Florida to raise a family? Then this is the video, and stay to the end and you'll find the #1 rated suburb to raise your family in Orlando. Let's go. What's up, everyone? My name is Cameron Hodge, a realtor here in Orlando, Florida. And if you want to know everything about eating, sleeping, and living in Orlando, then this is the channel for you. Hit like and subscribe so that way you can be notified every time we have a new video. And so we are always getting reach outs from everyone from around the world when they are moving to Florida, and we absolutely love it. We are here 24/7 for you. So if you're thinking of making the move, call, text, email, whatever you have to do to reach out and get help with moving to Orlando, Florida. So in this video, I'm going to be covering the top 5 suburbs in Orlando to raise a family. So this list is based off of niche.com. They have a good overall demographic and rates crime, schools, cost of living, and kind of rates it in order from 5 all the way to 1 of the top suburbs to raise a family. So I will say, and I'll point out, this list is a great list, but it doesn't mean that it incorporates the suburbs that you enjoy. So stay till the end and you can find the #1 suburb and also my opinion of that #1 suburb and what I have found. So without further that, let's get into it. Number 5 on that list is Dr. Phillips. And this suburb is located in Southwest Orlando. And I'll be honest, when I saw that it was number 5 on the list, I was kind of curious because Dr. Phillips is definitely one of those suburbs that a lot of people look at when they're moving to Orlando, because it is a great neighborhood. And actually, in terms of just overall suburbs in Orlando, it's rated #1 on the same website's list, which is kind of interesting that it's number 5 for families. Now, even the schools, everything's pretty great. I do think it's a little lower on this list than it should be, but let me know in the comments below if you either agree or why you disagree and what neighborhood you think should have been number 5 or suburb rather. So overall, Dr. Phillips is an amazing neighborhood. Like, I do love it. It is, it has like a dense urban feel to it. So me and my wife, like when we do love having a little more space and some acreage with our homes. Now that's not for everyone. Dr. Phillips is definitely gonna be denser, but overall, like it's a great neighborhood. It's all these neighborhoods on this list are going to be safe and have great schools. So like one thing actually you'll notice, especially with Dr. Phillips, is it can be really close to, like, out of all these neighborhoods, it is one of the closest to Disney World and even closer to any other theme parks. Like it's more central to Orlando than some of the, anything that's in the north end of Orlando. But like I said, you're not going to have the land with properties. So it's something to take note of when it comes to living in Dr. Phillips. And also in Dr. Phillips, one thing you will notice is that the average home price is about, at the time of this video anyways, about $366,000. I think it tends to be ranged higher on that end, but you can find homes on the smaller side that hit around there. Average income is usually higher. Obviously, that's going to be the overall from the last census, not maybe the up-to-date version. But it's 10 minutes to Disneyland, or World rather. Sorry, again, came from California, so used to that. My wife's obsessed with it. So it's 10 minutes to Disney World and about 17 minutes to the airport, give or take. Obviously, with no traffic. It's great location. It's everyone's super friendly and nice. Like I said, I think this should definitely be probably in the top 3. But in the current of this rankings, it's number 5. So it's something to take note of. The other ones are definitely good contenders, but Dr. Phillips is a great one. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on Dr. Phillips. All right, and number 4 is GOTHA. So looking at Dr. Phillips, I think the only reason that GOTHA got higher on this list is because it is kind of a smaller community. And because of that, like it's, the average home price is substantially higher, the income's higher, and there's less, I guess, overall that they're using these numbers for, which is why I think it got higher on the list. But GOTHA is a nice suburb, so it's going to have more of a rural feel. And the reason for that is, even though it's on the west side of Orlando, it's right next to Winter Garden, another great place to live. It's, it's smaller community. Homes are going to have more space, a little higher in value. Schools are great. everything's really great about it. It's quiet. It's still close to, Disney World and the airport. So you're not really getting far out there. You're still close to a ton of amenities. So, I mean, if you have the budget for it, yeah, it's an amazing neighborhood. I think, though, it is kind of off to be above Dr. Phillips, in my opinion, because Dr. Phillips is also a great neighborhood. But I guess GOTHA in this case would be the same version, but it's going to have a little more space. I mean, it's just what I've seen. So, let me know in the comments below if you think GOTHA should be higher, lower, or what your overall thoughts are. And number 3 is Lake Mary. So Lake Mary, City of Lakes. I really do love this suburb. I think it's fair, at least for me, to be number 3 on this list. I know for a lot of people, Dr. Phillips is one of those great places that they probably would rank number 1, which is why it is a number 1 ranking suburb. It's just, it's a little dense for me at parts, and it really depends on your budget, obviously. But for me, these other suburbs kind of fit my style. And if you don't like, let me know in the comments below if you think this list so far is kind of fitting your needs or if it's not. So Lake Mary it's going to be more of a suburban feel. It's not going to be as dense at parts like Dr. Phillip is, but overall, I love the community. We definitely have a handful of clients recently that reach out, and they really have been looking at Lake Mary, surprisingly, as a place that they want to live, mainly because the home price is going to be, it's a fair home price value. So a lot of people can afford it when they're coming in, at least get their feet wet. And schools are great, like they all are on this list, but Lake Mary definitely holds those ratings higher. And it's really only 30-40 minutes to Disney World, depending on how much you're traveling. And if you don't care about Disney World, then it's irrelevant, But if you're like my wife and you're obsessed with it, Lake Mary's about that far, and it's about the same to the airport. We're about 30 minutes from the airport, which for those of you like me who have family outside of the state and you're either traveling or having them fly in, that's something to take note of, So it's definitely if you don't, obviously, so far on this list, if you don't know what neighborhood you want to get in, I just want to say that's why it's even more important to reach out so we can have that conversation for you. Because if you're like me and you had a family, you have kids, nothing is more important. Budget's one thing, but making sure your family has, your kids have a good school, that the community's great, it's safe. That's something that's always a top priority. And, if I could feel your concern, reach out. Ask us questions. We are always here for you. All right. And number 2 is HEATHROW. So this suburb is in the north part of Orlando near Lake Monroe, and it's number 2. The home prices are a little bit higher, which I think may be why it got higher on the list. It's still a great neighborhood. The whole north part of Orlando, that whole section, going towards even the center, it's fits me, and it's what I really love. When we first came to Orlando, it's not what we initially looked at, to be honest with you, because we just didn't know better. But for me, moving forward, I love the north part of Orlando. Mind you, I didn't make this list, niche.com did, but Heathrow is another great area. It's near Lake Monroe. It's about 48 minutes or so, give or take, with traffic to Daytona Beach. So you'll be closer, obviously, than if you're going to Tampa for Clearwater. So Daytona will be closer for you because you are in the north part. Schools are amazing. Overall, most of these suburbs on this list are going to have amazing people. Overall, crime's low. Schools are great. For a family, it's awesome. And you're about 40 minutes, I think, from Disney World. Again, traffic always dictates everything. Obviously, being in the northern end there, you are going to get farther away from Disney World, but you're closer to Daytona Beach by a little bit, so that's another great place to go visit when you come. But Heathrow, let me know in the comments below if you think it's not just to be number 2 on the list, or you feel like it shouldn't even be on the list at all, because I would love to know. All right, and number 1 on this list is OVIEDO, and if I'm pronouncing that wrong, let me know in the comments below, because as my wife knows, I am not the best when it comes to pronouncing names. But OVIEDO, so that is the number 1 on niche.com for Orlando. And I love it. It's one of the places I think we'll end up moving to. So it's gonna have a rural feel. It's in the northern of Orlando for suburbs. It's tucked away, lower home prices on average. I love it. So obviously didn't choose the list, but it is number 1. Also, according to niche.com, it is number 6 for all suburbs in Florida for raising a family. And I think a lot of factors that come into that, the crime's extremely low because it's not gonna be as dense. It's just, they're gonna have that playing in their favor. But a lot of people always think, especially when I looked out here, that you would assume higher home prices meant better neighborhoods and suburbs, but it's not always the case. The schools here are some of the best in Orlando in terms of ratings, you know, with test scores and all that. I grew up rural, so to me, I kind of understand why people are just awesome there. Like we've helped a couple clients there, and they just really love it. You know, it's if you're into the rural feel, but you don't obviously want to be super far away from everything. You know, you're still 40 minutes to Disney World, still, you know, North Orlando, so you're getting closer to Daytona Beach by a little bit, not like exceptionally a lot. And this could be a neighborhood for you. And really, it all comes down to what you want for your family. So all these neighborhoods are just a general idea, just a list to give you an idea of suburbs. Because like, look, when we first came out here and we started looking at suburbs, I found that we had no idea what we were doing at the time. You know, we were just looking everywhere. We didn't know what the top neighborhoods were, suburbs. Like we were just like, yeah, Orlando, right? No, it's like any city. If you're coming from the city or even the country, like every town, city, like it's each going to have its smaller parts that kind of tell you where you want to go, where you should or shouldn't go. And also be honest with you, like, you know, reach out to us and have a conversation, but it's probably going to be best if you're able to take a discovery trip. You come out, you know, we can give you a hot sheet of like neighborhoods and certain areas and where to go in them. And then you just start exploring. That's what we did when we came out here. I mean, we made a cross-country trip from California, driving all the way to Orlando, which was fun with 2 kids, and we just explored. So, you know, while this list is just a general idea, like it just gets the mind turning. And if you disagree with any of these neighborhoods and suburbs, or you feel like there should be different ones on this list, let me know in the comments below. And also, like I said before, if you are moving out to Orlando, we are here for you 24/7. Don't make the mistake of choosing somewhere that you're just not going to be happy with. We are here for you to help. Call, text, email. And with that, I will see you in the next video.